Guys, so in this short video we'll be looking at Criterion A Focus and Method for your extended essay. Your extended essay should clearly show that it has a global significance and should examine this at one or more local manifestations. This means in the introduction of your essay you should make it very clear where your essay is located. You might want to do this with a map, or you might want to clearly state the location of your case study. In addition, the subject that you have chosen must be of global significance. You must explain why the issue you have picked is of global significance. You need to suggest this very clearly by spelling it out. This subject is of global significance because. When looking at global significance in a world studies extended essay, it might be useful to consider the Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals, of which there are 17, have already been identified by the United Nations as being of global significance. No matter what two subjects you are representing in your extended essay, this might be a good justification as to why your issue is of global significance because it's already been identified by the United Nations. You must establish the significance and importance of this global issue in your introduction. This might take longer than other subjects. You need to think carefully about your research question. It must be appropriate to the global issue and have local manifestations. This means your research question must be globally significant, perhaps related directly to one or more Sustainable Development Goals, and it must be clearly seen in at least 1, 2, or more places. This should be established early on in your essay. You should establish this global link with your research question clearly. You then need to explain or justify the research question. A justification might be this link can be linked to the Sustainable Development Goals that have been already established by the United Nations. You need to clearly identify the academic disciplines within IB that are relevant to your essay. You also need to make the research questions clear. They need to be interdisciplinary. This means you clearly state the subjects and preferably the subject content for each of the subject areas. You might want to look at your subject syllabus to identify specific statements that are relevant. You must make it clear that you are taking an integrated approach. You are looking at two subject areas and you are taking specific ideas from specific IB subjects. You need to highlight the material, sources, data and evidence from your two subject areas that you will be using. You do need some explanation of why they have been chosen. You must show clearly that you have chosen a range of suitable relevant sources. These could be both primary and secondary. You need to consider carefully what these secondary sources are. They must be from reliable sources. While you can use information from the internet and from, for example, news broadcasts, newspapers and journalisms, it is strongly suggested that you also use some information from an academic context. This just does mean at a simple level for your extended essay looking at university research papers if you possibly can. These university research papers, if published, have been through a peer review process, so they will probably be more reliable as sources of information. The reliability of your information is very important. Secondary sources should be capable of conveying academic context and be susceptible to academic evaluation. This means there has to be some sort of peer review process for some of the secondary sources that you've used. Another simpler way to look at the peer review process is the CRAAP method. You might want to pause this video and look at the CRAAP method. This video has focused on Criterion A, Focus and Method for your extended essay in World Studies.